I play a lot of horror games, which occasionally tricks me into thinking I have actual survival skills. So to violently humble myself, I decided to rank horror games based on how likely I would be to survive them in real life. First up, Amnesia the Bunker. The premise of Amnesia the Bunker is bleak from the first minute. You play as Henry Commel, a French soldier in the middle of World War I. We start in a muddy trench. My tutorial, where I am given a gun, told to throw a rock at a door to break it, and then get promptly shot 57 times. Henry is apparently built different because he survives this. I then met my second challenge, the door. It was locked and I couldn't get through. This took an embarrassingly long amount of time to figure out and got me feeling like that one game critic playing Cuphead. I eventually resorted to blowing the door open with a grenade, making it through just in time to get caught in a gas attack and saved by my best friend, Augustin Lambert. Later on, Lambert goes missing. I make the incredibly smart decision to go looking for him, alone, at night. Eventually I track him down at the bottom of a deep crater, critically wounded. I fill a canteen of water, make him drink it, and somehow manage to drag him out of the crater, which shouldn't be physically possible, but we go with it. Almost immediately, we are spotted by the Germans, bombed, and I pass out. Sometime later, I wake up alone in a bunker medical ward with amnesia. The officers sealed the only exit and fled, trapping whoever was left inside. I find the only other living person in the bunker, a dying soldier in the mess hall, who begs me to find a bullet for his revolver and end his suffering before the beast does. However, he is instantly pulled into the wall and eviscerated by the monster. On the bright side, I did get a free revolver. I then locate the administrative office, which serves as the only safe room. The bunker operates on a central generator, which runs on fuel. When the fuel runs out, you are plunged into darkness. Or, more accurately, you transition from slightly screwed to completely. The fundamental issue here is that fuel is a strictly limited resource. You can only get it by exploring the bunker, but to explore safely, you need to have the lights on. The monster comes out significantly less when the place is lit up. So, to get fuel, you have to spend fuel. Do you see the issue here? My only backup light source is a hand-crank flashlight, which not only provides terrible lighting, but winding it up sounds exactly like starting a screeching lawnmower. Just perfect for alerting the monster to my exact location. I quickly learnt that escape requires two things: dynamite from the arsenal and a detonator from the Roman tunnels. Naturally, my path to both these sections was blocked by an emergency lockdown. And even better, when I finally found the lockdown mechanism and tried to turn the valve to lift it, it completely snapped off in my hands. With the lockdown firmly in place, I had a brilliant backup plan. I found an explosive barrel and decided I would just blow up the main exit myself. I then spent the next chunk of my life trying to push a barrel up a tiny dirt mound, completely failing. The laws of physics were my true enemy here. Accepting defeat, I went exploring near the maintenance area. I immediately set up a trap and just ran through it for some reason, setting myself on fire momentarily. Peak survival instincts, if I must say. Luckily for me, the monster decided not to show its lovely face just yet. I eventually learned the replacement valve I needed was in a guy named Dalil's locker. So my new mission was to break into his room, find his dog tag, and get the code for his locker. Because obviously, the most secure military protocol during a mutant apocalypse is to engrave the passwords for all your secure storage directly onto dog tags you wear around your neck. Flawless system. I found another explosive barrel, pushed it in front of his locked door, shot it, and grabbed Dalil's dog tag. I opened his locker, grabbed the new valve, and unlocked the security lockdown. During my exploration of maintenance, I found out that the arsenal, where my precious dynamite was sitting, required a door code. According to a note, that code was currently broadcasting on a radio in the soldiers' quarters. So that's where I went next. At this point, I had completely run out of fuel. This meant the soldiers' quarters were pitch black, and the monster was out living its best life roaming the halls. This is also where I was formally introduced to the bunker's rat problem. These aren't normal rats. They are massive, hairless, and have absolutely no skin on them. They block the hallways to swarm and eat the corpses of dead soldiers. Since I didn't have any meat to distract them or fire to burn the bodies, I just snuck past them into a nearby room and immediately hid under a bed. The monster followed me and walked up to the furniture I was hiding under, and its pathing broke. It got stuck and just fidget spun in place for 5 minutes. I sat under the bed watching it do donuts next to my face until I finally grabbed an empty bottle and threw it just to unstick him. It did work. Momentarily, he stopped spinning, walked over to investigate the noise, and immediately went back and got stuck again. Trapped in a room with a glitching monster, I eventually just decided to make a run for it. I sprinted away, immediately set off a trap, walked into a cloud of gas, stumbled blindly into the swarm of hairless rats, and died. How my first official death wasn't even from the monster, I have no clue. I quickly realised that doing this in the dark was a terrible idea, so I decided to turn on the generator and return with the lights on. It turns out that actually being able to see helps a lot more than I'd like to admit, since I was stubbornly trying to conserve my resources. With only a couple of mishaps along the way, I was able to acquire a key to unlock the communication room, blow open a door to restore power to the radio, use the radio, and finally get the code for the arsenal. Before heading to the arsenal, I opened my own locker and found a note. It turns out, when Command ordered either me or Lambert to go on a scouting mission, we played a game of chance to decide who went. A game that Henry conveniently rigged by letting Lambert go on the very mission that got us blown up. Good to know I play a fantastic friend. Putting my terrible life choices aside, I took the code I got from the radio, headed to the arsenal, and unlocked the door. My first attempt to reach the dynamite ended up quite like my first attempt at the soldiers' quarters, with me running blindly through poison gas, aggravating a horde of rats, and then dying. For my next attempt, I decided to be more tactical. I made use of my crafting menu for once and made a Molotov to clear out the rats. I threw it, except I apparently forgot that in order to light a Molotov, you actually need a fire source. So I ended up just throwing a wet bottle of alcohol at a rat. And yes, I died. Next time, I gave up my strategy entirely. I ran through multiple traps, grabbed the dynamite, started bleeding profusely, and just blindly sprinted back out the door with the rats chasing me. And before you say anything, I have no idea how that worked. I had the explosives. Now, I just needed the detonator from the Roman tunnels. To get down there, I needed bolt cutters, which led me to the prison block. The prison has a truly inspiring architectural layout. The main cell block has exactly one entrance, which is conveniently the only exit. Which means if the monster decides to walk through that door while you are exploring, your only strategic option is to sit inside an open cell and politely wait to be eaten. Because of this death trap, I had been avoiding this area. However, as I had recently opened a locker and found a wrench, I remembered seeing a screwed shut air vent near the prison entrance. So I went back, unscrewed it, and crawled into the locked control room. From there, I flipped the main switch to open all the cell doors. This immediately prompted the monster to crawl out of the walls and murder the one German prisoner we were holding hostage. Once the beast had finished his meal, I quietly walked out and checked his cell, finding the bolt cutters. I still have absolutely no idea why the French military was keeping heavy construction tools inside a hostage's cell, but I won't complain. With the cutters in hand, I broke the chain blocking the Roman tunnels, turned on a generator to pump out some flooded water, and descended. I found a table with 2 loose eyeballs sitting on it. We had a brief staring contest before they made a squelching noise and slowly sank into the mud. I think I won. Right next to this, I found a note from a guy named Neuer who seemed to be rapidly losing his mind. Gee, I wonder why. Deeper in the fog, I started hearing a guy singing to himself. Since anyone casually singing in a mutant-infested bunker is probably not friendly, I shot at a shadow in the mist. It turns out this was a hallucination. The actual singing guy, however, was very real. After a shootout that I have to embarrassingly admit was a lot scarier than it should have been, I put him down, looted his shotgun, and more importantly, found the detonator, the last piece I needed to escape. Exploring further, I found a tunnel leading right back to the exact crater where I fed Lambert the water that would eventually cause him to turn into a beast. The entire apocalypse, as it turns out, is 100% my fault. I collect Lambert's dog tag and a nearby rabbit toy which Lambert was going to give to his son. Armed with the dynamite, the detonator, and the crushing realization of my own actions, I went to the main exit and blew it up. I fully expected the rocks to clear so I could walk outside and roll the credits, except instead of blowing the rocks outwards, the explosion blew the floor downward, dropping me straight into a subterranean boss arena with a mutated Lambert. I had absolutely no idea that this game even had a final boss fight, which left me entirely unprepared. Under pressure, I panicked. I threw the toy bunny at him and proceeded to miss multiple point-blank grenade throws. When I eventually managed to blow up the wooden bridge while he was walking across it, I instantly failed to jump across the gap and plummeted to my death. I think I have somehow found every way to die in this game, not from the monster. After losing to basic platforming a few more times, I finally made the jump, pushed some rocks aside, and crawled out into the fresh air. I was rewarded a triumphant victory. I was immediately captured by German soldiers. I died 22 times. Open! I couldn't figure out a tutorial door. I was bullied by skinless rats. I threw a wet bottle of alcohol at rats, and I accidentally created the monster that slaughtered my entire platoon. Safe to say, I am absolutely not surviving this one. They definitely stay out because of that sign. Well, they didn't stay out very well, did they?